Welcome back, everyone. How we doing? It's another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. On tonight's show, we're going to be covering Game 7 of the NHL first round between the New Jersey Devils and my New York Rangers. Little spoiler alert, I think this is the last Ranger game I'm going to watch this season. We've got the Yankees creating more ways to lose, and we're going to hit on that. I know Corey and Brett definitely want to speak on that. The Giants and Patriots. Brett and myself are going to give you some of the draft takeaways as well as hit on a few other teams. And the upcoming series between the Golden State Warriors and LeBron James, the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers hits Steph Curry. I think I know who Brett wants to win this series. Showing solidarity with the absent Mr. Zappy. Mike's getting over a bit of a cold. Steph and Bron, why I feel that this could literally shape their legacies even further and possibly put one over the other in the way that history will remember them. With me tonight in window 2, Mr. Corey Rain. How you doing, bro?
Doing good. How's it going?
Doing great, man. Happy to be here. Down below, haven't seen him in a while. We got Mr. Brett Bandick rocking the Steph Curry, one of his favorite ball players.
I love Steph Curry. I'm not a Warriors fan.
Rocking it, baby. I'm rocking it.
I love Steph Curry as well. It's unfortunately my Knicks missed him by literally one pick.
Oh,
considering how the Knicks were being run back then, I'd like to think we would have picked him, but who knows? What I do know is Steph had an interest in being a Knick, and that makes it even more painful. But he is a Warrior, and in my opinion, the greatest Golden State Warrior of all time. We're going to start it off on the ice. Oh, boy. Rangers at Devils, who will find seventh heaven. We have 6 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in this. Rangers power play has gone to sleep yet again. Many opportunities early on, often for the Rangers. And I think the most disheartening thing about what looks like a series-ending defeat, barring 2 goals in the next 6.5 minutes, giving up a shorthanded goal. I mean, Chris Kreider. Oh, man. He's been so good in these playoffs, but just so sloppy. The puck handling, it just should have never happened. But one thing I must admit, and it hurts to say this, but I have to be fair. If you take away the many penalties that the Devils committed tonight, there is literally not much to speak on. The Devils have out-hustled the Rangers. They have looked more energetic. And I just want to say that I think Gerard Gallant, coach of the New York Rangers, made a fatal mistake, waiting too long to trust the kid line. The kid line brings energy and speed, and I feel that he relied a little too long on his veterans, and I think ultimately that bit the Rangers in the ass tonight. What stands out to me, barring a comeback, and why we lose this series, Game 3. A missed penalty, but I will not pin it on just the referees. That's not fair. I won't do that. That was a game we had to win. We win Game 3. We win this series. It's 3-0. Guys, this game's over. I'm turning this off.
Sometimes it can be that one little moment, man, that can turn a whole series.
Indeed. I'm just going to say this now to get it over with because it makes me want to vomit. My hat's off to the New York Rangers on a decent season, but just not good enough. Championship window is closing with this roster. I hate to say it like that. They're going to have to reshape some of this roster. My respect and my salute to the New Jersey Devils, a team that grew a lot over the course of the last 7 games, and they are going to be a tough out for anybody in these playoffs. This sucks. All I can say is at least I'm not a Bruins fan today.
Right.
Yeah. Best record in the league, and they go out in the first round.
Not just the best record in the league, the most points
all time.
Yeah, and to lose the way they did, devastating. And it just goes to show. I mean, we see it on full display even in the NBA with Milwaukee getting beat. I mentioned it on this morning's rundown. Nothing is guaranteed in the second season.
Nothing.
You know, it truly comes down to so many variables.
Yeah, the postseason is a whole new season. You don't know what you're going to get. I mean, example, 2007 Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said it, not me, but yes, the greatest offense. Number two offense, Denver did eventually break some of those records the Patriots had, but I don't care. The Patriots undefeated and the Broncos weren't. In my opinion, even though the Broncos put up more points, I still to this day believe that is the greatest offense ever assembled. That's my opinion. Oh God. Okay, let's move this along. From one disappointment to another.
Right.
The Yankees, creating more ways to lose, now drop to an even 15-15 at 500. Is it time for Yankees fans to panic? Has their window closed? I'm going to start it off with you, Corey, for a moment. I have a feeling Brett might be a little more optimistic than me. I know I'm going to start with you first, Corey. Pass it to Brett. What are your thoughts, buddy? This is a tough one. Domingo Germán pitched a gem and just the bullpen squandered it.
I actually like Germán. If guys weren't injured, I think he'd be a fine fifth starter. But, no, not time to panic, but fans are already panicking, so that's kind of what they do anyway. This season reminds me of 2021 a lot.
Okay, so far, I could see the similarities.
Now, in 2021, it was more of a roster issue as far as they didn't have left-handed hitting at all. The injuries this year are just outrageous, and you can't make excuses, obviously. Even Aaron Boone said it. Nobody feels sorry for us, but
that is such a typical rally cry by so many coaches and managers.
But what are they supposed to say? We give up? I understand it's cliche, but I think they have to just hold the fort down and keep their heads up. The fans are going to do what they do and be extreme about it, but it's May 1st right now. Mm-hmm. So I think they're going to get better. But these injuries kill. They lost Loizaga till August. That's a terrible blow.
That's an awful blow. And he's a potential guy that can close games because right now I think in addition to mass injuries, as you already alluded to, mainly, so I'll give you some names, some big ones. We got Luis Severino on the IL. We've got Carlos Rodon. We've got the captain, Aaron Judge. And we have his fellow Bash brother, Giancarlo Stanton. Also,
I think Donaldson is an important one too. I know people are kind of down on him, but I think he could help.
Oh, no, indeed. Josh Donaldson, even though I would never claim to be his biggest fan, he's still got a good glove. And at the end of the day, it's another bat to worry about. Right now, we need all the help we can get.
Yeah, and you can't blame guys. Volpe has come around, but you can't blame guys like Peraza and Cabrera. They're kids. They're still learning the game. So it's no fault of theirs. It's just when you have a lineup without Judge and Stanton, it's not scary at all. Rizzo is a great guy, but more of a complimentary player. He's not going to carry a lineup. Torres is very streaky, but he's not Aaron Judge. He's a very good player, but not going to carry a lineup. LeMahieu, the same thing. They're nice pieces, but it's not going to get it done, man.
I think my biggest disheartening thing with this Yankees roster right now, and this is even assuming that everybody was healthy, I feel that we don't truly have a leadoff man. No matter who's healthy, I don't view this roster with a guy. I mean, DJ's done an admirable job, but no disrespect to him, I don't think he's what you want as a leadoff man.
I think Volpe is eventually that guy.
Yeah. But once he starts hitting a little more for average, and I'm not going to sweat his average, he's just getting his first taste of the show.
He's actually improving if you look at his numbers over the last. But to me, and I said it in the beginning, even if the team was healthy, I think they're a very talented team, but I felt like they needed one more bat. to ease my mind a little bit,
For sure.
And when it comes to the state of the lineup now, forget it. I mean, you score 2 runs, you can't. I mean, people can criticize all they want, but Clay Holmes just didn't get it done. You know what's so crazy though? The Yankees were 3rd in ERA in MLB before yesterday's game.
Well, it doesn't surprise me because, even like the beatdown that Nestor Cortez took yesterday in Texas.
Yeah. That was more of a misnomer than anything.
Yeah, it's a bit of an anomaly because, Nestor has been consistent. It was just a rough series in general. And as my co-host Mike Zappi said, they caught us at the right time. And he's a Ranger fan saying that.
Yeah, I know. And their bullpen has actually been pretty good. I mean, I know Clay Holmes doesn't always make it look easy, but they've had some other guys that have been really good down there. Cordero and Hamilton and, they seem to do good in finding relievers that come from, the recycle bin, and they turn them into guys that get it done. They're really good at that.
I'm going to play devil's advocate against myself for a second because I said off air with both of you, hopefully Brett comes back soon. I think he's having some internet issues over there. I've said that I believe this team just doesn't have that championship pedigree. I'll put it blunt. We have not been as close to the World Series since 2017, which was the final season of the Joe Girardi era.
Yeah.
He was relieved of his duties. Here we go. Do I even comment on Zappy, relax. Tupac and Biggie were still alive when your Cowboys last hoisted the Lombardi. Let's take it easy on that one. He's having fun with it. I mean, I get it. It's not right now. The state of New York, once again,
I know
anxiety.
I know what you're getting at, though.
Yeah, you know what I'm getting at. I mean, if the Astros are starting to find their stride, Rangers have proven that they might be a year ahead of schedule. I think we knew they were going in the right direction. I didn't think we knew it was gonna happen right now. I think a lot of people, myself included, thought it was going to be the Mariners. It looks like it's the Rangers instead of the Mariners in that West Division. But let me ask you this, Corey. Do you think, as Yankee fans, we're maybe predispositioned to freak out a little quicker based on how many games out? Because I think part of this is the Yankee injuries. It goes without saying. It's hard to win without healthy bodies.
It is.
But another thing, too, you can't discount the start that Tampa has had.
No, you cannot. But I think that surprised a lot of people because, well, yeah, you're going to obviously say that they're good, but not this good. So I think, and also when you get into these kind of starts, it can be really hard to recover. Like, that division could possibly be over. I know that sounds crazy, but
it's not, though, because, I'll give you a great example. Last season, first half of the year, the Yankees were at a historic pace where the 98 team at the time was threatened that they could have been jumped by last year's version. Obviously, we know how the second half of the year went.
Yeah.
But they still won the East.
Yeah.
And that speaks volumes on the start they got. So they all count.
They do. And you'd rather, I don't want to say you'd rather start great. I mean, it's so unpredictable because I've seen baseball for a long time. You have as well. I've seen teams win 85 games and win it all. I've seen teams win 105 games and crap out in the division. Like, I don't know if there's a formula, really, man. I think
the great Bobby Cox once said this, and I think it's as simple as it gets. He says, win as many series as possible, whether it's 3 out of 4, 2 out of 3, consistently, and you will find yourselves where you need to be.
Do you think, and this might be a larger point on another show maybe, but do you think that the regular season in baseball is diminished due to the fact that you can just have a bad week in the playoffs and then you're done?
To be frank with you, I think you could almost say that about any sport.
But how do you change that, really?
How do you change that? No, you can't. And they're not. Because more playoff teams brings more revenue. You've seen it in the NBA with the play-in.
But isn't that why it's so painful though? I would say.
I think they're all painful in different ways when you come up
Right.
short as a fan
But
or as a
yeah,
player. But
especially a baseball season, and like that's 6 months, and if your team is great for 6 months and then they're shit for 1 week,
right.
that's just like, oh man, that's a kick in the teeth right there.
No question. I completely agree with you. I'm going to share what Zappy has on this topic. The AL East is clearly the best. I'm sure he meant division in baseball. And if the New York Yankees were playing in any other division, then they would be right in the thick of things. Bretsky is back. Welcome back, buddy. We were stalling for you. Don't worry. We're stalling. Everything's good. I'm reading all what Zappy said about this Yankees situation. The Rays and Blue Jays will continue to separate themselves, and the Yankees may in a position where it's going to be a little too late. I hate to agree with him, but I do.
I agree,
and it's not because of the record. It's because of what I believe is a very flawed roster.
Yeah, I said this at the beginning of the season. I was a firm believer in the Blue Jays just because of their firepower and their lineup.
Okay.
I was a little skeptical about their pitching rotation and, if they can close out games, yada, yada, yada. But that lineup, dirty, nasty.
It is a nasty.
It is really nasty.
Well, since you bring up the Blue Jays, I just want to piggyback off that with you, Brett. Given their nice start, the Tampa Bay Rays, I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think the Rays are truly the team to beat in this division, or do you think it's a product of just having an awesome April and things are going to start leveling out?
That's so hard to wow. What they've accomplished since opening day is mind-boggling. But it's early, it's baseball. I mean, they can go on a really nasty slump. It's like a game of basketball. It's like a series of basketball. You know what I mean? Like everybody goes on runs. You want a great run for 3 weeks, and you look like the best team in baseball.
Yes,
but then you slump for 3 weeks, hence the Yankees, and you look like the crappiest team in the division.
Right. You were just coming back to the room, so I'm going to let you just kind of see what Zappy had said when you were gone. Yeah, and I was in the process of reading this and had finished it right when you came in. So I guess basically Zappy's more or less getting at that the Yankees in another division. He's basically praising the AL. He's praising the AL East.
He's already putting off the Yankees.
I can't do that yet.
Yeah,
I'll be honest, fellas.
It's too early.
I'm a massive Yankees fan, but this is why I am actually agreeing with Zappy, and it's not because I want to, because I don't want him to be right. But I'll tell you why I agree with him. Let me see what he's saying here again. We are past that. We are 30 games in now. The Rays are continuing to be the number one hitting team in baseball, number one pitching. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a hard fact to deny. Chemistry truly does go a long way, and it is on full display. I can't really – I mean, listen, starting in the beginning of the season, they had a few tomato cans. Their first series loss was at the hands of the Blue Jays, the team that Brett just mentioned. But I can't argue with Zappy's point on this, though.
Yeah.
The pitching and the hitting and the amount of home runs that they've been hitting this year, which is not necessarily a staple of when you think about a Kevin Cash Rays team.
All right.
But this is my take. Best way I could put it.
Yeah, boys, look, it's May 1st. May 1st. I get it. But it's too early to pick panic. The panic button. They're 500.
It's not about the date. It's not about the date. This is what it's about. It's about the fact that this is an offense that even with Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton healthy struggles to score runs consistently. Stanton's out for 6 weeks. We don't know how bad this Judge hip pointer or whatever is going to be. This team can't score runs barely with them.
They were actually doing fine before Stanton got hurt, though.
Yeah.
I think I'm talking more of a bigger scope, not necessarily just the short sample of this April. I'm going back to even the last year where we in a season where Judge hits 62 home runs and breaks an American League record, but yet this is a team that still consistently struggles to hit with men on.
Well, again, they've never had a full lineup.
Yeah, Rich.
They haven't had a full lineup I can't even name one season where.
I think what I'm trying to say in the most mature way possible, and not sound too angry at my team, my fear is that by the time they get all these healthy bodies, they're going to be looking up in the standings, and they're going to be like, holy shit, we're 15 out of first, we're 4 out of fourth, and we're really out of this thing, and it's only July. That is my fear.
Yeah, but, Rich, we had the same problem last year and the year before.
Yeah.
Runners in scoring position, not capitalizing, making bonehead plays. We were in the same shit last year. It all comes down to fundamental baseball.
Yeah, but this is the thing, Brett.
They're not
you're missing your key components to the roster, it's hard to assume you're going to be fundamental when you don't even have the guys that you're paying a lot of money to rely on. Right now, and I'm not acting like I know for sure this is what's happening. This is my genuine opinion, though. I feel that the Yankees are overcompensating for so many things that are going wrong right now. And any competitive sport, and we've all, on some level, I think when things are going bad, like the old adage, when it rains, it pours. I think that's what's happening right now. But unfortunately, this could be one of those seasons where they don't have the luxury of everybody being on top of each other. That is my concern, because I think the Orioles are a lot better than people realize, and the Blue Jays are starting to arrive as well.
The whole division has a better lineup than the Yankees right now.
That is a fair point too, Corey. And at the end of the day, no matter how much pitching you got, you still got to put something on the board.
You do, but I think it's unfair to write them off, because I've seen this movie before many, many times. I just refuse to believe. I understand, opinions are put out there, and that's fine. But if this is still happening in June, then hell yeah, I'm going to be yep.
Over the Aaron Boone era, we have been able to weather a Judge injury and a Stanton injury. Yeah. But to my recollection, I don't ever recall when they were both hurt at the same time. I've seen Giancarlo Stanton carry this team at different junctures of different seasons. I've seen Aaron Judge do it. Who's doing it in their absence is my question, and that is why I think the Yankees have a big problem.
Well, that's why the Yankees have a good farm system. You know what I mean? Like they bring players up. You know what I mean?
That's a lot to ask, though.
It's so early to tell, guys. It's
I hate to say this, dude. I hate agreeing with him because he's having a little fun against my team right now. But I gotta admit, I appreciate both your opinions, because I do not want all of us to agree. That would kind of suck if we all did.
Yes, I recognize the flaws, but I'm not deterred. I've just been there, done that too many times to really feel that way. But
I love the positivity, because believe me, dude, I want you to be right and I want to be wrong. When I say this, I do mean that. But I do disagree with you guys respectfully.
I'm just being more so neutral than anything.
Well, I've known you for so many years. We've had so many great baseball convos over the years that I know that you have always been one of those dudes that the glass is half full, not half empty. And that's great in general. Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, dude. I don't like a lot of the stuff I see from Yankee fans, because I don't think they're realistic. I think they're spoiled. I've said this over the years on this show. But I must admit, 2009,
long time ago.
When I think of the Yankee standard, it's a little too fucking long ago, if you ask me. Yeah. And you I'm going to put it to you like this. If we miss the playoffs this year, and if Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman still have their jobs, I'm sorry, Hal Steinbrenner, you're not sending the right message to your fans.
That would be correct.
Thank you. Thank you.
I agree with you and Corey on that one. But
I put it like this, though.
it's too early to tell, man. Too early.
It is. It is too early for that. Now, let me put it like this. The argument has been made that they have been hesitant to go for a Manny Machado, Bryce Harper. Has that been the thing that has held them back in this era?
It's a good question, Corey.
Ohtani.
It's a great question because
I think they wanted him and he didn't want them, but yeah.
I've mentioned this before on the show. Friend of the show, Sergio Rodriguez, and the reason I want to shout him out is because it was his take, not mine. But he did bring to my attention when we had a off-the-air conversation about how the Yankees are in a position where they can bust up the luxury tax. But the problem with doing that is that the money that you kick back to the Tampas, to the Orioles even, let's use those two teams as good examples. They're competing even with having less money to throw around. They have, especially Tampa. Especially Tampa. They've mastered that.
Tampa is amazing at scouting.
Indeed. And I do believe that to a level that has prevented the Yankees from wanting to spend all that extra, because when you're essentially feeding your competition at that point, and I made this point with the other New York team in Queens. Part of the reason why Uncle Stevie is not afraid to spend that money is because when you look down below and you see the Marlins and the Nationals, what are they going to do? Put in a fountain? Put in some new fish? They don't give a shit about winning baseball games.
Also what I think, like, people don't realize how much pressure there is in New York. Like, even the Astros don't really have pressure. And they're the defending champions.
Yeah.
If they had an off season, nobody would really make that big of a deal out of it.
Like, I'll put it to you like this, buddy. After the cheating scandal and winning fair and square, any pressure they did have, I think, has been alleviated off their shoulders because they beat our ass fair and square last year.
They got let off the hook, though. But it's just a different animal. The Yankees, and look, I understand, the win it all or bust mentality. I get it. But I think people don't realize how hard that is to do that every year and have that pressure every year.
I've seen it with Patriot fans. I've seen it with Yankee fans too. Fans of teams that are used to having some form of a dynasty.
Yeah.
Yankees had it in the 90s. Patriots had it in the 2000s and in the 2010s. If you kind of combine the two decades at two different times. Right.
I mean, the Patriots, they pretty much wrote the blueprint on that. But
especially for the NFL.
That's a whole other topic. That's a whole other topic.
We're talking dynasties.
But at the end of the day, me personally, I look at Tampa as the new Moneyball modern day franchise.
Absolutely.
And truth be told, it's not that new.
The thing is, like, the Moneyball aspect, but at the same time, they are really fundamentally sound.
Yes.
There's a complete difference with the whole Moneyball aspect regarding that.
Yeah.
But they have the Moneyball aspect along with the fundamental team basics.
Yep.
Oh my God.
There's a couple of things.
Go ahead, Corey. Go ahead.
There's a couple of things. Go ahead.
No, you first. You good.
All right. There's a couple of things that they do. Like we mentioned, scouting. They know when to get rid of players.
Yeah.
They're amazing at making trades.
Yeah.
I don't know. They have some sort of magic potion or something.
Yeah, they have a legit formula because I've said it on previous shows.
They just have a feel for it.
They got rid of G-Man Choi, who's a Yankee killer, I was happy as hell.
Yeah.
To Brett's point about the fundamentals, I saw something in tonight's Yankee game that really pissed me off. You've got a man on. It was Cabrera. You've got IKF, who's a veteran and is a very intelligent baseball player. You have no count, 0-0, and Cabrera's on the run.
And he swings.
Unless your name is Babe Ruth or Barry Bonds, you better not fucking swing.
Yep.
He swings, hits a line drive to third, and Cabrera's out because there's no way he could come back to first. He basically stole second.
I think
It sucks.
that when you don't have your big guns, you have to do the fundamental things.
Right, and I'm all for the hit and run, or all for being aggressive. And then you have to, and we talk about percentages and we talk about thinking within the game. Mike Zunino has struggled all year to throw out runners. You don't swing at that pitch. He has the base stolen. That's the difference between getting that third run that prevents you from losing in 9 innings tonight. It's the little things.
It is. And then, overall, the Yankees have actually played really good defense. But tonight, Holmes, if he doesn't make that error, that inning could have been different.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah. I said this I didn't say it like this because I was cursing. But basically, I told Brett on the phone when the play happened.
Yeah.
Barehanded. Just barehanded.
It was so bad.
1 out is better than no outs. I know you wanted a double play, but 1 out is better than no outs.
You still have a 2-run lead. You don't have to
yes, sir.
Be conservative there.
Yeah.
That's the time to be conservative. You want
because if he barehands that ball, he does not get the man at second, but he would have got the next runner at first.
He got 1 out.
Bottom line. And we would have had 2 and only 1 to go.
It's an extra out.
I'll put it to you this way. He barehands it, we win the game tonight. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah. I think the Yankees, their lineup lately, and obviously they're shorthanded, but they'll score a couple of runs and then they kind of just take the night off.
It was demoralizing, the kind of loss they had tonight. I want to ask you guys this before we move it along to the NFL draft results. In your opinion, both of you, do they respond from this, or is this one of those losses that's going to stick with them in an ugly way?
No, I think, this was the first game back home after that long road trip? Okay. It's one game, guys. It's one game out of a fluke and the 9th inning. You know what I mean? Like
I think they respond. Cole is pitching tomorrow.
I think they'll respond.
Well, Cole is the slump buster. The problem is he can't pitch 4 times a week.
He also doesn't bat.
I mean, given the way our offense has looked lately, I wouldn't be opposed to the idea.
Right.
We're going to move it along, guys. I am tired of complaining about this, and I think these 2 guys are probably over the Yankees at the moment.
Over that shit.
God. The G-Men and the P-Men. Brett and Richie, that's me. Our draft takeaways. Bretsky, I'm going to let you start this off. Obviously, you guys landed Christian Gonzalez, one of the best corners in this draft.
Yeah, that was a huge pick. With the loss of McCourty, he's not. I hate to say it. He's not Sauce. He's not Sauce level yet. But you give him 3 or 4 years with Belichick, and he will be the next Revis Island, Stephon Gilmore. He will be that caliber player. I firmly believe that. You give him the right tutelage and the right time, it'll happen.
So you feel that his ceiling is say like a Revis Island, who obviously is wearing the gold jacket. He's Hall of Famer.
I don't think he, as of right now, I don't think he has a ceiling yet.
Well, I have a very high opinion of him as well.
I think he's obviously going to improve. Like, he's already a solid shut-down corner. And with Belichick's mind and that defense, the way they do shit up there, I think he's only going to improve as the years go on. I think that's a great pick. And this was actually kind of interesting. We had 3 4-round picks and 4 6-round picks. Like, what? How? We didn't trade Brady, number 1.
Well, you also would get a lot different value for that.
We would probably get
trades. It was trades over the years.
Yeah, trades over the years for sure. But this our 3rd round pick, Marte Mabu, Hawaiian guy. I think he's a work in progress. but I think he over the years, I think he'll have that junior Seau kind of thing going for him. We picked Jesus.
Well, you got a punter and a kicker, which I got to charge.
Yeah, I'm not even touching that right now.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna touch that.
I did get a charge out of that though.
We picked a kicker in the 4th round.
Yeah.
You
better be a damn good kicker.
I'm not touching that. I get it. Belichick's known for doing that. He's a special teams / defense.
Yeah, he has done questionable things like that.
Yeah, but I mean that's the way he is, though. He does a lot of questionable shit. What I'm kind of curious about is this our center pick, our round 4, Jake Andrews.
Good ball player.
Really good ball player. He originated from Notre Dame. But I'm kind of see where I'm really interested to see where that's going to go. No quarterback picks. So obviously Belichick is in the mindset, we're mac and cheese is his guy.
No, that's not the mindset. I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm gonna
Hold on. Just let me finish. I mean, he's been sticking up for Mac Jones. I mean, I get it. I've heard the rumors. I've heard this and that outside the locker room with a tiff between him and Mac. I really don't know. God's honest truth. I really don't know what Belichick wants to do with him. Yeah, he's a Saban guy. But I don't. If he were going to pick a quarterback in the draft and completely mind fuck this guy, then I would say yes, absolutely do it. But he didn't choose one quarterback, and that's mind fucking him even more. And I'm sorry to curse.
No, it's okay.
But I don't get what he's doing.
Well, this is my thing. This is my thing. I think when you're looking at the quarterbacks that were available, and you see even like a guy like a Will Levis, how long he took. Yeah. There were some character issues, potentially guys similar to the bad vibe of, say, like a Zach Wilson. Let's just use that as a decent example. Hendon Hooker, he's kind of a work in progress. Mm. I, in the back of my mind, thought that could have been a quarterback that the Patriots would have entertained. Ultimately, this is my take on this. I don't think it's so much that Belichick views Mac Jones as his guy. I think it's more about Belichick thinking along the lines of, if we have a rough season and we finish as a bottom 5 or 6 team, we might be in a position to truly get the guy we want in the next year's draft. Possibly. And I do mean this from a very honest level.
So you think he wants him to fail?
No coach wants their player to fail. But it is an ongoing business. Business is always open in the NFL. And it's not like there's one particular day that anybody takes off, even in the offseason, so to speak, even when he's hanging out on that boat 6 rings. What I'm trying to say is that I believe that Bill Belichick is not a Mac Jones fan. I just think that even if you revisit that draft, how they took him, they didn't go up or down for him. He just kind of was there. I'm not saying that he can't improve. I just am not convinced that this Patriot team, they're always going to put up a good defensive effort. That much I will say about a Belichick team.
You're such a dick.
I will say that. But I don't believe that Mac Jones is going to be the New England Patriots quarterback past this season. That's my honest opinion.
This season?
Yeah, I just don't see it. Unless if maybe Belichick pulls a wild card and retires. I mean, he is getting old. I don't know. I don't see it. I honestly don't see it.
What I like is this picked on Kayshon Boutte.
Well, check this out. Before you even hit that.
That is actually his name. His last name is pronounced Boutte.
hang on one second on that thought, Bretsky. The reason I wanted to stop you is because Zappy's actually bringing up the quarterback thing. Say win-win for the Patriots. You all in with what you have, and if it does not work, then you will be in position to draft. Bingo. Kind of jumping on what I said. This also means trading up, but it won't be too hard. And I do kind of hear him saying that won't be too hard because I think me and Zappy are both of the belief that you are going to be picking in the top 10 next year.
Yeah, we might be.
Probably. You're in a division.
And I get from both your point of views. It's a smart thing to do. I just don't know how.
I don't think it's that.
I don't know.
I don't think it's that complex. When I look at the rosters in your division, you look at we know what the Jets have. They have the best corner in football, in my opinion. And he's only entering year 2 in Sauce Gardner. Mm-hmm. They've got a running back in Breece Hall. They've got they went 2 for 2.
Assuming a healthy Breece Hall if he comes back healthy.
Bottom line is, Brett, they're a really good team right now, and they just added a 4-time league MVP. You got the Buffalo Bills in that division. You've got the Miami Dolphins in that division that also were a playoff team last year and almost beat the Bills without Tua. Mm-hmm. Then you got, and I'll be honest, in a quarterback-driven league, the biggest question at quarterback in that division is your guy right now. And that's not debatable.
Corey, what you got, man? I haven't heard a word out of you on this
one. He wanted to give you your fair shot at talking about your pets.
I think that it's best to be conservative when it comes to the Patriots and their quarterback situation right now. The only way you take a risk on that is if there was a shoe-in guy that can't miss or whatever. Like Richie said, take a chance, and if it doesn't work, then you just pick somebody better with a much higher pick.
And this isn't the Dallas Mavericks. It's not like any team that Bill Belichick coaches. It's not like he's like not going to prepare them.
Yeah.
I just don't think that when you look at the landscape of that division, the Patriots are the ones that are more than likely finishing last this year. Yeah. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because we have seen teams turn it around one year to the next. But when I think about what's in that division, I do not see the New England Patriots avoiding the basement this year. I don't see it.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to take a fall because
sometimes it's worse being in the middle than it is being on the bottom.
Absolutely.
Because at least at the bottom you could rebuild quicker.
Yeah. 8-8 is kind of purgatory.
I would have to agree. Being right in the middle could be purgatory for developing quicker. Bill Belichick's not a spring chicken. I know that he wants to have one final run.
Why do we fall, Bruce?
He wants to do it without Tom Brady.
To rise.
No doubt. I would have to think that that's the only reason why Bill Belichick is still in the NFL. Brady won one without him. Bill has not done that without Tom. And I do believe that that's something that Bill needs to have that final feather in his cap.
He's going to stay around because of that.
Indeed. But once again, he's an old man. We don't know how much longer he can do this. It is a very stressful job. I'm going to speak about Bill's first team for a moment before we roll it into start, bench, cut. My New York Giants, I got to say, fellas, I really feel that we hit every need and we didn't have to necessarily reach for the need. I'm very pleased with the Banks pickup out of Maryland. In my opinion, possibly the most athletic corner of the top 3. He has the best vertical without a doubt. And when I think about the receivers in the NFC East, whether it be CeeDee Lamb, whether it be Devontae Smith, whether it be A.J. Brown, whether it be Terry McLaurin, these are some of the dudes that he's going to be seeing. And obviously Adoree Jackson, veteran leader, cornerback 1 right now. But this is definitely a player that's going to help immediately, and he's going to be day 1 starter. Mm-hmm. John Michael Schmidt, awesome pickup. A guy that I mocked for the Giants in the first round, they actually got him in the second round. That's quality.
That's solid. Yeah.
And Brett, you know this as well as I do. We had a pretty cool year last year. The Giants breaking that playoff
Drought. Yeah.
But I got to call out my team too. When you look at our record against the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys, it hasn't been pretty. We need to be able to run between the tackles. Even Saquon Barkley, as talented as he is, track his games against those two organizations.
Yeah.
They haven't been his signature games.
I don't even want to talk about the Eagles.
There's nothing to say. All I'm going to say is that they literally they're trying to put together the Georgia defense.
They're trying to put together the 92 Dream Team.
Before we totally get upset, one thing I will say is that last time that word was used with Philadelphia Eagles, they missed the playoffs. They spent a ton of money. But I got to say this, and I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Been a lot of honesty tonight. The Philadelphia Eagles are run very well, and they are not the same old Eagles that Cowboy and Giant fans got used to seeing as having a good year here and there, but then maybe overspending, then having the short window logic. This is an Eagles team that Howie Roseman has put in position to be relevant for a very long time. And as much as I hate to say that, I got to praise them. Got it. Last thing on the Giants, I do want to mention this. I think Jalen Hyatt is a first-round talent that they were able to get in the third round. I am very pleased with that pickup. And I believe that the New York Giants are now potentially going to reopen conversations with Saquon Barkley about that extension. We'll see what becomes of that. But we also did draft a running back. I think the Giants, Joe Shane, doing a hell of a job. Brett is gone again. Got about 14 minutes. So we'll see if Brett can get back in time for start bench cut because we can't have one without the third party. For those of you who don't know, the Ranger season is over. I think you guys figured that out at the beginning of the show.
Sorry about it.
Nah, it is what it is. You know what, Corey? Let's hit on Bron and Steph. This is a series that I'm thinking about.
Okay.
Why this upcoming series may truly shape their overall legacies and potentially give one player the edge over the other. I'm actually going to start with this and pitch it to you, Corey.
Sure.
Your opinion. First of all, let me ask you this. Right now, in your estimation, who has the better legacy in terms of the whole body of work?
LeBron.
I disagree with you, but I want to hear why.
LeBron is just a better basketball player overall. He's been the better player for more years. I don't think even the years that Curry won MVP, I think he won a unanimous MVP. You can even argue that LeBron was still a better player that year. He's been on historic teams. The Warriors have been historic. Steve Kerr, what they built there with him and Clay and Draymond. Then they get KD and they win. I mean, I don't think Curry's a better basketball player than LeBron. But
I don't have a problem with you saying that.
But he's the greatest shooter ever, so there's nothing to sneeze at.
I like the way you worded that. I disagree with you, and I'm going to tell you why. The reason I disagree with you is because of the reason you actually gave me. LeBron James is a better basketball player than Steph Curry.
Yes.
But yet they still have the same amount of rings. I liken KD coming over to Oakland at the time with the Warriors. They're in Frisco now. As similar to when LeBron hooked up with D Wade and Bosh as the third man.
Pretty much, yeah, kind of. But to play devil's advocate, they did win 73 games without him. So,
right. Yeah. And this is kind of where I would like to go with this for a moment. When we revisit that particular series, were it not for Draymond Green getting hit with the suspension, I'm not 100% sure that Cleveland comes back from 3-1 and defeats the team that had a better regular season than the famous 72-10 Chicago Bulls. The reason why the Bulls will be remembered fonder in history is because they got the ring. That Warrior team didn't. Similarly, Brady got all the rings in football, but they didn't get that one. This is the thing. The reason why I think there's so much bearing on this series is because when I revisit last series with the whole Dylan Brooks thing, challenging LeBron, calling him out, disrespecting him, in my opinion. For me to defend LeBron James, you really got to try.
Oh, I know.
And I must admit that even though I'm not the biggest LeBron supporter, I still respect greatness and I still respect time served, so to speak, in the league.
I don't think he should have done that. I think it was disrespectful.
No, absolutely. And you don't bark at the big dogs when you're not one yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you're going to come at LeBron, you better be at least in the stratosphere of what that man has done in his career, whether it's a KD, whether it's a Steph. You got to be on that level to start barking at him. You got to be a Giannis. You got to be somebody special.
He's not anything. He's okay, but he's
going to be a mouthpiece that'll be out of the league in a few years.
Exactly. I think if this was a different circumstance, if they were playing for a championship, I might be more for this narrative, but whatever team wins, they still might not win the championship. So I don't know, man. I don't. I think the legacies are already defined.
This is the thing. I have a funny feeling that whoever wins this series is going to get their 5th ring.
Really?
Yeah, I actually do believe that. I don't think it's Denver, and I don't think it's Phoenix. I honestly do believe it's going to be the winner of this series, or at minimum represent the Western Conference in the finals. When I looked at the way the playoffs broke this year, and I saw Golden State and the Lakers, Golden State and the Lakers, kind of like not necessarily sweating home court. I mean, you think even what Golden State did yesterday? They won 11 games all year on the road, and they win 2 in one of the toughest arenas in the league against the Kings. And speaking of winning on the road, I got to give a shout out to the Philadelphia 76ers for taking down the Boston Celtics tonight without Joel Embiid. That is huge.
James Harden, man, 45 points.
Yeah, James Harden went off tonight. Definitely threw it back to, his when he was the focal point. You take it back to Houston or you take it back to OKC. Actually, OKC, he was actually coming off the bench still. He didn't really come into his own all the way.
To me, these playoffs are so wide open, as we know. But I think the Celtics have the most pressure of any team because it's their time. Like, it's put up or shut up time for them. They've been knocking on the door,
I kind of agree with you, but I would say a team that is more or less right on the Celtics level in terms of pressure is actually my New York Knicks. I do got to say this. I kind of mentioned it earlier today. I didn't go all the way in on it, but I was so deeply disappointed when I saw the energy in the Garden, when I saw John Starks, Patrick Ewing in the house, old school players, 2 legends that were Knicks. The Celebrity Row was lit. And then when you see how they had that awful third quarter, Kevin Love throwing it back on those outlet passes.
Right.
Really impressive stuff, man. And when I think about it, all I can truly say is the Knicks better win tomorrow.
They have
because if they don't, Miami's going to win that series. I'm going to let Brett get an opportunity to get in on this before we slide out of here. Bretsky.
Yeah.
Your take, have the floor. Steph versus Bron. Right now, at this very moment, who has the better legacy / who's ahead? And who wins the series? By the way, I was going to say this quickly. I got the Lakers winning in 7. Corey, what's your prediction on the series real quick?
I have Golden State winning it because I don't believe Anthony Davis is going to be consistent enough.
Heard. So I got the Lakers. You got Golden State. Brett will tell us. Brett, you got a few minutes here. LeBron, Steph, who, in your opinion, has the bigger legacy? And in the way I put the headline, does this really define who is ahead on the charts, so to speak?
Yeah, it will.
In terms of how history will remember them.
Yeah, no, I think it will. I mean, they both have 4 championships. Steph has been with one team. LeBron's been with 3 different teams. Yeah, I agree with Zappy. Warriors in 6.
Okay. Okay.
I 100% agree with that. Steph is hot. He's healthy. Number one, healthy is the biggest thing with him right now.
For sure. For sure.
And Clay has been wanting this matchup since he came in the league. Like, this has been like his go-to matchup, his dream matchup. I think Clay might have a better series than Steph. But Draymond is playing good ball. Wiggins is playing great ball. It's this. We talked about this months ago, Rich. Months ago. It's they have a championship pedigree mentality where they come together at the right time. They play.
That's
hard,
what makes this series so appealing.
It makes it like
because they both have that pedigree.
It might go 7. It might, but you don't know what kind of AD you're going to get.
I think that's everything to me.
The kind of AD
are you going to get AD or are you going to get ADD?
Exactly. The AD that everybody wants is what he did last game to finish out that series. That's what everybody wants.
That's a valid point. I like that.
You don't know what you're going to get.
That's a valid point. I like that.
I agree with Zappy.
The first four games out of that series, he was cold. He wasn't around.
Yeah.
Now I do want to get to the one last thing, and then I'm gonna let Corey go here. So you got right now at this very moment, would you put Steph ahead of LeBron in terms of legacy, in terms of the way they're going to be remembered in the better way?
No, they're pretty evenly matched.
Fair enough. Corey, go ahead, buddy.
I agree with Zappy on the KD Phoenix thing. They do have pressure as well.
Yeah, and I did kind of overlook that but without mentioning it. So good point for Zappy there. Go ahead.
But I think AD is everything. If he dominates, like we know he's capable of, the Lakers could give them problems. But I just don't believe that he will. And I
don't see that happening every game.
No, it won't. But as far as legacy goes, one final point on that: Steph Curry's not a top 10 player in NBA history. LeBron is, and now I'll just close with that.
I will say this respectfully, though: if Curry's not in the top 10, he is damn close. He is approaching.
What? But
I don't see it, man. I just don't.
He's close. Wow. I literally, if I was making a top 10 list, he is anywhere between 10 and 13 in my eyes. If he's not in, he's close. Mainly because of the fact that I think he's going to be remembered as the greatest shooter of all time.
Absolutely. And his impact is very large.
But, the NBA has been it's such a rich history.
Yeah.
That I think what makes making these lists more and more difficult is that who do you take out?
He never saw our GOAT show, did he?
I'm not sure if he did. I can't speak on that. Listen, fellas, we only got 90 seconds left, which means that we're not going to be able to fit Start Bench Cut into this video. But would you boys like to come back and say about 5-10 minutes and knock out this Start Bench Cut to complete this the right way?
I mean, I can't make you any guarantees because my internet has been fricked up for the past hour. So I'm not making any guarantees, but I will be down for it. But yes. I can't
tell you what. We're gonna get out of here in a moment, and we'll be back for Start Bench Cut. I think awesome. Zappy might be firing on some comments. Let me see what he's talking about here.
Yeah, the KD and some.
I thought he was sick. Why don't you take some bourbon and honey and go to bed, Zappy?
Oh, Ivan Hidalgo. Kevon Looney is dominating the boards. Dennis Rodman,
wow. Ivan.
Ivan's a big fan. So Curry is in my top 10. All right.
I just don't see it, man. I think it's recency bias.
I see both sides of the argument. And I'll be very honest as I could possibly be. I'm not sure. Like I said, when Brett was like, oh, wait, 10 through 13, anywhere in between there. But the more he pads and adds to this resume of his, he's going to bust into that.
That 50-point, game 7.
Brett, hold that thought, buddy. We are coming up on 10 seconds. Everybody, thank you for watching, and we will be back shortly.